When I was in junior high school, I was playing clarinet, okay, marching band, all that stuff. And I wanted to play a guitar, so my mother bought me an acoustic guitar. So we went and bought an acoustic guitar before we can get an electric guitar. And I play like 14, 16 hours a day just to show her I can play a chord before we went and bought my first electric guitar. And as time grows, I decided to start a band, so I had my other two brothers, Jim to play drums and Vic to play bass. And that's how it started as a family. Then my cousin Carl came in. He first started out as an accordion player and became a guitar player. And then we created the Islanders back in '63. After the Islanders, after I got drafted and got out of the service, overseas in Germany, I was playing with a group called the Golden Boys. When I went back stateside here, I played with the Counts. Okay, it was a 9-piece band with the horn section and everything else. Oh, International 5 and the Family Tree. You know, the Horizon. You know, that was back in the 70s and 80s and so on. But after that, and the Starlight Band. And also I did a little recording with the two rappers back in the 80s. They called themselves Partners in Rhyme. They needed a bass player while he did the rapping. It was mostly underground rap music. And it was an album, the only album they ever made actually. But it turned out okay. They wanted me to do a little James Brown lick in the back as a bass while he did the rap. And that was the only time that I can remember before I started this new venture called Vintage. Practically playing every weekend or every other weekend, whenever we can. And you know, that's what I do. I'm retired now, so I got most of my leisure playing music on weekends. And I enjoyed it. There's no pressure, just play good music, the same song we've been playing since in the past. Since they first came out. We played these music back then, and we're playing music now, and being recognized for what we do, and seeing some of the guys, or most of the guys, perform these songs, they get a big thrill out of it. They got music in their heart, and they just love to perform, and they really open up in front of the audience.
And what kind of music do you play?
It's a mixture bag, but mostly Motown music, you know, like Earth, Wind & Fire, Stevie Wonder, Chicago, Tower of Power. We do some Latin music too also. So it's a mixed bag, including standard, Chicago and so on. And I guess the music we play really opens and broadens the wide audience. They really, really get a big kick out of it.
What was your most memorable place you played?
The most memorable place I played, it has to be back in the Islander days in San Francisco. Okay, that's where it started out back then. We were just 5 of us. You gotta remember, we were brothers and cousins, the 5 of us, and a singer, a friend of mine in high school. We did a gig in San Francisco with over 500 or 600 people, and they thought we were the wonders of the 8 wonders of the world. I mean, they considered us as #1 group back then, even though, you know, there was Bay Area bands like the Intruders, the Wanderers, the Gentlemen's back then in the 60s, you know, and they just had to see what are we like. I mean, we just like blew them over.
I heard you were in a newspaper.
In San Francisco, they consider us one of the best bands out there back then. And even an old friend of mine did an oratorio commentating about the Islanders back in the early 90s, how it all started out. That wasn't for the Islanders. They gave a lot of credit that all these upcoming musicians is because when they were kids, they heard us play, and it just kind of made them, you know, broaden their interest in music, you know. And so it expands their mind, and when they find out that they love playing music, they either became professional, semi-professional, or just part-time musicians.
Yeah. So you basically inspired them.
Yeah, I was surprised, really. I didn't realize how many people, when they came up and asked me how did I start it, who was my first band, I said the Islanders. And they all would say, you gotta be kidding me. They were the ones that inspired me when I was a kid. And I feel like saying, you know, you make me feel really old now. And there was a lot of people besides them, that came up to me. Or I will walk up to a store and they say, the Islanders, the guys with the gold jacket. Just like you're talking back in 63 to 65, and you're talking about back in the 90s. And they're bringing up all these memories of the old group back then. Oh, I thought you guys were going to make it. No, we got drafted. The rest of my family got drafted, but they started their own group, like the New Miracles, Outrage, and of course, when I came out, the Counts and so on, until now, recently, for the past 9 years, I got a group called Vintage, and we're here tonight at the Sly McFly.
Yes, that's it.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, all you garage band from the Monterey area, good luck to you.